1 point. If they win one of those matches and CYCLOPS loses this, they are going home. It is done for. There is nothing left to fight for.
It's a lot of good lucks in the chat. It's a lot of good lucks. It's a lot of have fun. It's a lot of high energy, and that's what we want from CYCLOPS. You're up against Team 1 on Oregon. It's a great map for them.
It is.
It's a great map for Alamau, who pulled off some absolutely ludicrous plays the other day, and it's time for CYCLOPS to see if their stack of 5 out there eccentric, just sort of big, all guns blazing plays are what can shake those foundations of Team 1.
Now, exactly what Jess said, I would ban Monte as the one of 2 bans that comes through. It was either Ying or the Monte. Oh, the Clash as well. That is...
No shield.
No shields allowed.
They were in gold ranked again.
We are back down in where we were stuck for so long, as we are true casters.
I got out of gold this season.
Out of gold as well.
Next season, who knows?
That's a new story.
Malusi's gone too. Malusi's taken out of the board. It's, you know, going to make some of these pushes, some of these aggresses quicker. She has had a very big presence in some of the best players of this tournament. Obviously, Joystick, who couldn't play it in the previous game, it was cited as that's what he's been tearing everyone up with. It's a great gun in the right hands. It's a fantastic bit of utility for the pace that a lot of these teams love to apply. It gives you some early warning. It gives them more to think about. And she's been a big presence. But enough of that. Let's get in. The opening round inside dorms. We have a cap cannon, a swap over to an Echo to play a bit of a bait and play with the Thatcher on the board. That'll get rid of a lot of these electronics, I say, as they swap it out to a Lion.
Okay. Thatcher is finally allowed to see some play, but not yet. Alamau choosing to go for that line to help a little bit with the aggression, and that is something I really liked from Empire during the previous game against CYCLOPS. During the first 2 rounds, they were completely being beaten around the bush, like they couldn't even enter the building without being, you know, taken care of for at least 2 of their members, and their choice on how to counter that was to bring a Dokkaebi and to bring a Lion, because it helps you with the roam clear, it slows them down, makes sure they cannot continue moving as they usually do. And with that, they bring the line straight away. I do, however, like the Capcan, and this is what I like about CYCLOPS. They play stuff that is just, it looks weird if you're thinking about it. You don't often see the Capcan. No, but it's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, okay, I get it. It's not the most common thing. I will say Capcan isn't still the biggest surprise. You'll see it as a bit of a pick early in a game. It scarpers people's approach.
Yeah, but normally you would
makes them
6-pick
guess,
right? Like, you wouldn't just leave it in there. Normally you would 6-pick it in, I would say, instead of just, hey, look, Capcan.
Yeah.
We're bringing it. We're not even going to try and hide it. Be careful of it.
Well, the bonus. Yeah, sideswipes the door and starts his approach towards the walk-in here, with the bedroom being a little bit cleared. You can see a long extension towards the top of Tower 2 from the attackers. They're making sure that they've got all of that ground on the opposite side of Attic, so they can steady their way across towards the hold that is otherwise in place. Black Ray is the one that's a bit loose here underneath, making sure that he can be a bit of a problem as they get a bit closer to the punch. The man-made mirror window is the one that gets burnt through there with a hold to lob a grenade if they can try and catch that body on the far side of it, but with the rotation finally being opened, this is going to be the start of the pressure. Look at Black Ray still underneath though, still waiting, still safe and still ready to apply some pressure. They've got to try and find a way to get rid of him before they can make their way in.
Definitely have to make sure that the flanks are being watched as Levy picks up the first kill. Now they find out of the flank that is coming up. The yokai drones, however, are covering it. Seems like both these teams are aware of the presence of the other, as Alamau taking care of some of these yokai drones. Aegator now will drop as well. Lavi putting up some good use here, and still you see Black Ray trying to go for the challenge onto the back stairs, but there is an extra site presence needed as they are being picked apart slowly but steadily by Levy. You would say the number 2 of the team, but
that's it. But hey, how can you count towards Team 1 when what they're doing is aggressing so well formulated? Another E1D pops off and you can see the pressure starts to bounce back. Black Ray and Suzu C with a hell of a clean take there on the man, but the second spills into Attic, locks off the bottom, locks off the kill. Levy for a triple now, flooded in and flooded out their first win.
Very clean round here from Team 1. Able to pick up these kills, stay calm and collected. They knew the push was coming, they had a flank drone. Didn't go for the aggressive peaks, even though they had the E1D, they knew where they were. Decided to just stay calm. Let them come to you rather than the other way around. And worked out this time. CYCLOPS. Some beautiful shots coming in, though. Not able to win the round, and that is, of course, what is necessary. Oregon, a map that I believe was 60% favored towards the defenders. I'm going to pull it up as we speak. Of course, a nice little update in the meantime as well. May have been played. 57% overall. And the Dorms and Kids was a 67% win rate for defense. So
attackers need to locate and defuse
not too well
bombs as they can.
that you lose that straight up. But it's not the end of the world because there's still 5 more rounds. And if you do manage to pick up 4 at least out of those 5 rounds, then you find yourselves on a pretty decent exit point of that first half.
CYCLOPS were looking like they were trying to find the first place to bite in to the attack last time. They obviously had a bit of an aggressive presence around side stage itself. There was a body ready to double down if needed to. They got into these situations where they weren't quite sure where the push and the pull was going to come from Team 1. And, well, Levy obviously being able to pick up the first and then the second 1 versus 1 head-to-head kind of gave them this very tricky situation of, okay, now we still have these loose players that were looking for this first confrontation around stage and around these other wider situations. What are we going to do with them now? Do we keep them there and hope they can maybe get a bit of a strike ground on the backside, or do we pull them back in, try and get some site solidity itself? Either way, we're now finding ourselves playing inside Dorms. Double down to lock off underneath, and Team 1, they've got themselves, as I said, double down and stacked up onto this tower.
Gona's just trying to find some information. Galarada going for the fall back down into meeting. Some ankle holes that have been created. Allows them to try and challenge anybody moving up on the rear stage and the big stairs. So you see, just holding off. A lot of information is being gathered by both these teams to try and figure out what the push should be coming from. And there is 2 options available to Team 1. You can either go for the freezer and laundry take, or you could be going to the back stairs and potentially blue or the electric hatch drop. There's a lot of information here for 1. These drones doing work for them.
Creeping round, and now the obvious EE1D is going to be even more obvious. Wasn't 6th picked out, so potentially that'll play into a different favor with CYCLOPS here. They're still looking to scratch at the approach and make sure that they can have them a bit bloodied before they're finally able to push against the hard destruction of the site itself, still threading themselves from the stage, but it's the window from deep towards the bottom of tower where they find a little bit of ingress above the armory stairs. Anaton actually rotates back round towards the dorm side. The C4 over the top, but Alamo reads it well, gets close and gives himself that E1D as a buffer to make sure they don't swing in and push back. He's well aware that there's a body inside that's well aware of his presence here too. He's concerned about this push from the white stairs, as obviously, as we said before, we saw the body at armory. Team 1 has a man very isolated. Are the other 4 players going to try and offer some support here, or is he just going to hold back, wait until he has a little bit more time and a little bit more under his belt before he goes for the swing? Anaton is holding the close angle, drops a drone with Suzuki prepped and ready to escape via the server's hatch. It looks like they're going to pull off and not try and go for the 2 versus 1.
Definitely a lot of time has been wasted here, 50 seconds, and I believe that is a mirror window in electric box that will be covering off blue, and it's going to be putting a lot of pressure down onto KDS. He needs to get that control. As I say, mirror window actually taken care of, allowing them to start moving through a full soft wall on the base of elbow. Neskin now spots that out. Surely they are going to be setting themselves up to go for this back take, as KDS with a team kill not really going to be helping.
No, a TK starts it off, but it's brought back to a balance by Neskin. Here comes the flood round towards the default plant spot. There's a C4, doubles down, and Neskin, well, he tries his best, but CYCLOPS bought themselves more than enough time. They read where the push was coming from the guns of Team 1, and they shut it down as it needed to be done. A much better second take there. They felt that they were more comfortable in their positioning. They felt that they weren't isolated, being picked off. They weren't trying to be as scrappy or as aggressive as they were on their defense in the first round, and it led to that success. Team 1, they went for a push in the dying 20 seconds, and it cost them.
But this is the beauty of CYCLOPS. They have the option to go super aggressive on every peak they go for, or they're really passive. Like, they have either option, and the one they chose here really working out is... it seems like the playstyle of Team 1 currently is designed around the aggression that CYCLOPS can bring. You bring out the Lion hoping to get peaked, doesn't happen. And and then the player just stays put in the kitchen, not moving at all. A bit of cover comes up through the white stairs, and freezer stairs, I must say, and hoping to find a pick there, but again, not over peeking. And as soon as the information comes in, as soon as the drones start picking away the information to Team One, they fall back towards the site. 50 seconds left. There has been nothing done as in preparation for the round, and it is going to be really hard for Team One in that case to try and make something happen. And now, it is going to be 1-1. We're all equaled up. We're going for a quick remake here. A bit of a break, allowing Team One to talk to one another. The IGL taking the charge here, saying what needs to change.
It's early doors. They've been able to pull around a piece. They're well aware of what the other is going to bring. And between these two teams, it's a lot of young gun aggression. It's a huge amount of skill on the biggest stage. And finding that little bit more control over the spacing is probably going to be the story that threads a lot of the success of these rounds. Keep your eyes on generally how the entry starts to fall in terms of who's able to get the first kill, and most importantly, who's able to get it cleanly. As we saw in the very first round, as I said, it was 1 versus 1s. It was Levy being able to strike and pull back and keep himself guessing there. CYCLOPS, they had themselves set up to get trades when the push came to the shove. There was a little bit of an aggression beforehand, but when it's, the first kill is 5-10 seconds before the actual push itself, it's still sort of all threaded around into that defensive hold. It's going to be a big battle of attrition between that sort of playstyle and that sort of lock-off here. Obviously, a quick rehost, as there was a bit of a bug, before we get ourselves back in just a moment.
It's going to be able to be used as a quick reset for which team might have needed it. Probably Team One that is discussing what can we do if they play this passive, what should we do. Either way, Kid Storms. Site, again, 67% win rate overall on defense. Team One able to take it pretty effectively the first time around, and as the Ying gets 6 picked out to an IQ, it'll be very helpful to deal with the Valkyrie Black Eyes and the Capcom traps maybe even as well, as sometimes they do go unspotted.
Yeah, it gives them that bit more intel. They can get a read and a beat on what is being played and where. Candelas can be good here, especially in the hands of Team One. We've seen it sort of utilized on the cross window, on the big double window. Sometimes successfully, sometimes less so. It's a bit of a risk. CAG, they're a team familiar with Ying as an operator. They obviously ran her a lot just in the previous game that we had on this stream. They know what is in that pocket, and they know, because of that, how to play against it. So they're not the most startled team by Candelas on the board.
No, definitely not. CYCLOPS, team which has had Ying banned against them literally 24/7, and they finally get to play it. And as Jess said it, they're not really good at it. I put it the kind of way.
Maybe it's because it's got banned so much.
Yeah, they're not used to it anymore. At some point, you're going to stop scrimming with it. It's like Mirror, right? It always got banned. You stop making strategies revolving around the mirror windows, because why would you? So maybe that's the case. Don't know. CYCLOPS, however, having the opportunity to use it later. We quickly saw it hovered over by Alamau. Choose to go for that IQ for now to give a little bit more of a support, make sure that these cameras are gone, that the Capcom traps are being found, that they are just going to be able to set themselves up in the best possible way to take these gunfights against CYCLOPS with them having as little information as possible.
Tiptoeing around the bottom of the small tower. They're looking for the first body here, and they're trying to pinch and pull the pressure away from the backside of the site here. The hole done. Underneath in the hands of CYCLOPS is one where they have themselves with more cover. Previously, as we said, it was a lot of spread out. It was a lot of being able to pull apart here. They've solidified a big chunk around the verticality, around that lock-off, with only one body playing a bit looser inside attic. Either way, they're still ready to try and pop over the top of Trophy. The C4 didn't quite catch anybody. I don't think it quite threaded through. As it did, so this is going to be the first battle around Zulu. KDS looking to try and creep his way up from the shower side. They have the awareness, and they also have just another bit of a threat here coming in, where it's just Alamau, who's obviously such a big ferocity, but no Lion this time. No E1Ds to back up the push.
Oh, Anaton there. The shoulder peak not quite hitting it. Caesar C going aggressive as well, putting down a little bit of damage on KDS, and the drones now giving away some information to Team 1. Both escaping with their lives, and again, Team 1 not having any kill, and it's going to be Gatorado that starts it off. Naskin will drop by the hands of a Nitro Cell. And as Anaton is going quite aggressive again, Alamau, he's being challenged actively right here. He's going to be able to pick up that kill to return the favor.
Yeah, he's kind of dancing around the doorway, but it's Levy that opens up a bit of blood back as he drops Black Grey with the grenade, I'm assuming. Popped from potentially underneath. No, it was a little bit of a strike round from the top of the white stairs. They've crept themselves into a good position here, but Alamau's still a bit locked off by Anaton. However, Anaton can't really go anywhere, so he's got to take the fight here. If he can win this, he can apply an intense amount of pressure round to the back of the white stairs, but with only 20 seconds left, they've had to pull off because they have to push deep. They're looking towards the body on the close trophy. They're looking towards the man just behind the shield inside the kid storms. Go for the hot hop. Aegator drops the first as they swing round to the back of the chassis and try and stick the plant. They've got to. No other option. So as the C4 bites them, they find themselves having to try and pull pieces back together. He's too far out, and a perfectly placed C4 locks in the second round for CAG.
Anaton staying alive there, very key, because it made sure that in the last dying seconds of the round, they had to leave Alamau to make sure that the flank wouldn't be coming up from the white stairs, and as a result, able to keep one body off site, turning it into an effective 4-on-2 situation all the way up on top of that site. And with that, win the round. Here you have, again, a couple of these gunfights. You know, they keep on poking at each other. And there you see it, 1v3 at site, and Alamau at that point only takes down Anaton. There's no time left for him to try and clutch it out. I like the faces they keep on making every single time. The CAG
every single time a player from any of the teams makes a face into the camera,
it is calm.
All I'm thinking is Bartosz is going to make a meme of this.
Oh yes, he will. Bartosz will meme you. Actually, previous game just ended on the other side. You might have heard the screams.
Wait, before you say this, because someone complained about it.
Okay.
If you don't want a spoiler about the previous game,
That is true.
cover your ears. 3, 2, 1. Okay, what was it?
BDS 1721
See you later.
against Liquid.
Liquid. All right, now you can open your ears again. You have no idea that I'm telling you this if you've still got your ears closed. So, good luck. Enjoy the rest of your life with your hands over your ears. Kitchen. They've obviously completed 2, so they're going for their third site. I say kitchen. It's obviously kitchen is on either of the sites. I don't know why. My head, I called this one kitchen and I called the other meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I do that. I don't know if it's related to old.
What was the old? The old one was meeting in the rear tower stairs, and this one was kitchen dining. So I think that is correct. Yeah.
So I think that's why I still do it. But obviously, kitchen is a part of both of them. It's just, you know, old school terms and old school popping. Yeah, a little bit of pace here as they go instantly around shower. Black Ray, though, cleans up and knocks KDS off the board. They went for some hyper-aggression early on the windows to see if they could catch somebody, but get caught themselves. Alamau is dropping his way down the small tower. They've got a very quick clear with Levy waiting a bit adrift. He wants to rotate back round, but he's going with a lot more caution. He's got a couple more windows left to pass here, and it's already been proved very dangerous. Gatorada, towards the bottom of white, is making sure that stays dangerous as they've gone for a very wide approach here. Suddenly, they've had to slow themselves down a little and start doing the heavy lifting of the work towards the showers. This is a big kind of linchpin of a lot of teams' holds here. It's got some rotations. You have to get this bit of control if you want to take and get the plant in where they're trying to dig it.
For a while, we saw often a Maestro play this position with the big Alda to pre-fire literally everybody when pressure would be coming on. And talking about the pressure, the shield just got removed. I believe that might have been by the Gaunt 6 that Naskin carries. Has tossed out one grenade just now as well, and that is going to be allowing Team 1 to hopefully put some pressure down inside of showers, but they still have to be careful because they have rotations in, they have that hallway they can just suddenly peek out of, and as you see Gatorada moving upstairs, they're also setting themselves up to go for a post plant there. Aegator picks up the kill onto Alamau. But it's a one-on-one trade.
Well, blood for blood, but it's also a C4 off the board too, which was a big play for the previous round, and it took them into that winning spot from what was a quick flood onto the site from Team 1. A couple other seconds passed, and that could have been a different round and a different score on the top of the board. The wall starts to crack open. They're trying to get themselves just in that lip and that nip at the back site with the cover to make sure if anyone swings round from the kitchen door, they get dropped before they can even start to try and tear and rip that C4. Black Grey and servers gives a position, drops a Gemini, but look at Lagonis here, smoked out as he pulls back round into the corner. He's still got a lot of time to work with, but one more canister and that might suddenly turn into a little bit of time. It's depending how it gets played as another gets popped out there. It's still this fight as Black Grey swings up round. Whoever drops the first here just wants a sliver of the other, pulls up to white, repositions, 13 seconds. The last canister misses, the camera gets dropped, and now he goes into it and he gets dropped. It was late. The dying throws, the last gasps of the wind. Suzu C flooding his way around the corner. I said that was what they wanted to cover, but Suzu C said no man can cover this.
First, the first smoke canister chipping away about 30 HP or something like that. The second one just mainly wasting time. And as the third one gets tossed in, they try to plant on a secondary position, but the Valkyrie Chem is there to take care of it. They move back, but at that moment in time, the smoke is of course still there, and of course started over that beautiful shot from Black Grey there. This trade also very important. Alamau not really allowed into the game as of yet by CYCLOPS, and that is helping them a lot compared to other opponents that have played Team 1.
It must have been only 1 or 2 seconds left on that final canister.
It was, yeah.
But also, it was only 1 or 2 seconds left on the round timer. He made a decision. He said, this is the one bit of safe territory. To him, he assumed it was because, you know, there's that moment towards the end of a smoke canister where a lot of the visuals have started to dissipate into the air. There's some fancy science words for what happens with smoke in an open area. I'm sure that, yeah, it disappears. That's all I know. But what I do know is it wasn't the wrong decision by any means. It was just no other option at that point. Had to take the risk that he had. I mean, 2 seconds instead of 1 is the break.
I think it would have been better to actually just plant at the spot where you already were spotted in that case. I think you were, I mean, you might have not been safe from the hatch. I'm not completely sure of that. I'm not sure if someone was actually playing that, but I get what you mean, right? It's like if he was a little bit later, he would have been fine, then it would have been a good angle, but like his cover got taken care of quite quickly as well.
But you can't account for that. I'm always...
Of course, no,
I'm always one of those people where you can't account for somebody swinging a doorway and getting...
Yeah, of course, but I think like the other position he was in, it forces the defenders to go out further, which would mean that they would have to actually retake dining in that case. Either way.
Go get your elbows out.
Go get your elbows out. We are in elbow, actually. There's a lot being set up there. ADSs, maybe even a shield. There's one still in pocket, I believe. No shields in pocket. Where is the shield? All right, we're not playing a shield inside of elbow. Just ADSs this time.
Yeah, obviously they have played a shield somewhere. It might be on pillar, potentially.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Middle of the hallway, in the middle of the door.
Okay. Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
Movement.
I think what that does as well is it allows you to have an alternate angle towards the default plant spot. Team 1 plant late. Team 1 always go for their pushes in the final 20-30 seconds. You can see them formulate their attacks. They're always working out what the best way to do it is, and they do a lot of the precursor work to make sure that it's going to be as successful as it can possibly be from their side, but they do go for it late. They try and stick it and make sure that it's a one-and-done situation with a little bit of, you know, scrabbling afterwards, often in terms of this game. So that shield there gives CYCLOPS that little bit of adaptation where they can try and double down on the swing, but look at this. The pressure is, as I've said, a lot of precursor works coming through, and Team 1, they count up their strategies. They make sure that what they're doing is for their kind of engagement, and this round, the best approach.
A lot of these hatches are being opened up right now. All of them take 4 pallets, as you will know. Now they have a lot of options available to them. Could be going for the back stairs and electric box combination here as KDS here's a player moving down into Harry Potter. Is Gator going to be able to try and live long there, or is it going to be the kill that will be coming in from Team 1 soon? Barbed wire will be taken care of. When these get popped, there's just a mirror window they will have to deal with if they want to go for this plant, and how are they going to do that?
Well, eBox under hot pressure here, 45 seconds as we set ourselves up for them, setting themselves up for this push. As we said, they make sure everybody's in a position, then it'll be a bit of a count. You assume you're going to have an E1D pop and pulse as they try and actually go for the swing and the swan song, the hot drop down eBox with potentially the pressure coming against that mirror window, and one loose inside blue around the back of barrels to the grenades pop. There's the E1D, there's the drop, and there's one that gets caught round, almost walks into it, but it's the cover from the man behind the shield. Look at this.
CAG. Beautifully played. They just drop in and they're getting cleaned up by the shotgun. Or two shotguns. There's two of them playing on that team, and beautifully played out. 4-1, and CYCLOPS, as they look to be struggling against Empire, you know, they got these early kills on their defense, which was really aggressive outwards. Empire, they didn't basically not allow them to get into the building. Right here to play a bit more passive. They actually play super passive for what we know from CYCLOPS, but it works out. They're slowing down Team 1. They're forcing them into pushing because Team 1 is a team, I believe, you know, that plays off a pick. They're trying to get that pick, and that's what they work with. However, they're not allowed these openings. They're not allowed to get a freebie. And CYCLOPS perfectly playing into this right here, staying passive when they need to. And that gives them 4 rounds right now, and that puts them in a pretty good position. If they manage to win this one as well, it's a 5-1 split. Remember, I'm going to say this, I'm going to mention the stakes again. Do it. CYCLOPS need to win more games than G2 today. That's it. That's it. And so far they've won 0. G2 is going to be playing onto the A stream next, so that is when the true pressure is going to be on for them. But what you want as CYCLOPS, I think, is close this game out before G2 starts.
Yeah, you want to give G2 that bit of fear.
Put that pressure on.
As Joystick tweeted, the reason that the game...
Just testing their nerves.
Just testing the nerves. What they're also testing is physics in this round, in that they've got 4 C4s.
It's going to be a lot of explosions, I dare to say.
It was what worked for them before. They were a great team with explosives across any map, but it was the clutch moment in this, in that they just had that one in pocket. They had the ability. I think they might have already gotten a C4 kill on that round before they stack it up. They head over the top of Trophy Wall. They're trying to put a bit of a pin and a pincer, but Black Ray, well, he gets drained out.
He's going to still try and go that C4. There you have it. It's going to get shot right before it explodes, and Naskin not taking a single point of damage. As the first C4 gone, but he will be dropping down a hatch, and I'm not aware whether or not one is going to be knowing about that as he rotates back up, somehow escapes again, takes a little bit of damage, but has to be careful as KDS is right around the corner. Again, somehow he escapes 2 guns right there. Black Ray able to live. Very big here for CAG.
Steady burning, and a mirror window that has nobody behind it as of yet, but they're trying to pop it open and make it a bit of a problem. Anaton just has to try and use that vector and hit that pop, but can't quite do it. He's worried about someone dropping in. There it is, and there it goes, and that makes it a lot more awkward to get that long-range frag grenade down across the top. It really limits that angle now. Lagonis is going to open some pressure on the opposite side. Black Ray, he gets close enough to take a bit of damage. He's jiggling around the opposite side, but he goes high, they go low, and they get that opening. Team 1, they have that bite. You said it's an important part of their play, and they've been able to make sure it counts. There's the cook grenade, goes over the top, but look at the blue bodies. They've pulled it further away. They're not going to try and lock into this attic. They read that there's this other pressure coming from Dorm, so let's not throw ourselves in. We still have 3 C4s and an impact. We still have that arm's length that we can keep them at before they make their final approach.
Gadarada trying to go for a bit of a flank, but Levy will be finding him, and now we'll be deciding to rotate out. Have to be careful though, the push is coming from 2 sides. We have 3 members around the master bedroom, we have 2 in the attic for Team 1, and as the E1D pops, that means there is still 2 left for this execute, but Gadarada here with a C4 playing from below could be coming absolutely big here if he manages to toss us at the exact right moment whilst the rotation comes down onto the big window for Naskin. He could be making sure that there is no one left to try and pick up that diffuser once they finally try and go for the execute. Lagonis needs to be sure that he's not going to be picked up because Alamau is right next to him as well.
Well, 30 seconds, and now is the time time. You can see that Team One have got a much more diverse push than what they tried to run earlier, where they shoved themselves up white and lost the diffuser. This time they've obviously altered it. They bait out another C4. Gator follows it up but gets dropped for the trouble as Trophy starts to flood in. There's a pickup of Anaton. They know that they need the buddy count more than they need that confrontation. The 10 seconds and another one found on Armory. It's just Suzu C left. He drops Lion from behind in a pop of surprise, and 40 seconds for him to see if he can find the remaining 3. But look at the spread, the cover of Team One. They're happy to get aggressive and swing round, because he knows even if he loses this, there's still 2 more players watching from a bit of range. Any movement this man makes is under intense scrutiny. A grenade pops out the corner and the pocket. There's another place. There's another Team One round, and that was a much better attack on this site.
Was a much better attack indeed, and there was no chance given. But now you also see how important the initial pick is. You saw the aggression coming down from the Goyo. As soon as the breach opened up, instead of falling back, decided to go for a peek out. You're handing over that kill onto the likes, onto the side of Team One, and they will be making use of that. They certainly have that opening. They can certainly go for these trades, and here you see a Black Ray going aggressive, and it's Lagones just to pick that one up easy, not having to worry about it. And what you see is CAG is trying to overcompensate. They're trying to take fights elsewhere, bring it back to a 4-on-4 situation, but they're losing these gunfights in that moment in time. So unfortunately for them, well played by Team One. Great use of that first pick, and as we now swap sides, it is going to be Team One on the defense themselves, and it is going to be CYCLOPS to attack. Now, we do not see the Ying as of yet, so we might see it a little bit later, but we do see is the Dokkaebi.
Let's see if the calls can come through. I suppose 4-2 on your defense is pretty standard when it comes to Oregon. It now gives you the mantle and the pressure. As you've already highlighted, they have to win their games that they've got left if they don't want to be that one team that drops and disappears from this group. Team One, they're fighting for their possibility of going all the way up into the top 4. It's also worth looking at Team One. They are in that 4th position right now. They have the 1-game buffer to anyone that's underneath them. With the result that happened in the Liquid game, that gives them the mantle to try and leapfrog a bit higher into the groups. With their head-to-head win against Furia, their entirety of their possibility of staying out of the losers bracket is down to them winning, I think, 2 games, and they secure themselves, because they also play FaZe in one of those 2 games, the other team that is just beneath them, 5th place with 1 win less.
It is going to be very difficult. The call's already coming out, so Team One have to be afraid of potential quick push coming out from CYCLOPS, because the aggression is what we are used to be seeing from them. Now, that has been toned down quite a little bit over the defensive half, but of course the attack is a different side, and this might warrant a bit more aggression. You see that the setup, it is being located around Elbow. You have the mirror window set up, of course, around Freezer as well. So, you know, they have a little bit of setup on either side. Now it's going to be up to CAG to try and find out what the weakest side is, where they have the most opportunity to break through, because, well, a mirror window towards Laundry, a mirror window towards the Freezer, and a setup towards Blue really only leaves the back stairs and electric box to try and force yourself through.
Black Ray creeps around the Freezer side to see if they can get a bit of an early pick. We saw them play some surprise pushes before in the game against Empire. They smelt an opportunity and they made sure that they could take it. Levy's holding around the back of the pillar, waiting for somebody to come for an ingress, but look at this. Prep for the hot drop here, the pressure underneath against that mirror window. He wants to make sure that they can buy them that wind, and the hot drop from E-Box comes through. Anaton and Black Ray flood the site, get one. He just gets Levy, almost messed it up and missed it. The smoke inside the middle of the table as Galarado waits onside the washing machine. They swing round, drop Lagonis, and it's Neskin that drives back through the harder site, brings back some of the blood and bullets, but suddenly only KDS is the last one standing. They flooded in, as we said they were prepped for, and they made sure every single mark was hit.
What did I say? The only real thing they can go through is the back stairs and the E-box. That is the one place that wasn't really held off properly by any of the utility plays down. They went for it. They pushed through. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the aggression explodes, and they managed to get these opening kills as we're heading, of course, into... There we have it, the replays coming in, making sure that the side is clear. Anaton having a bit of struggle there with Levy.
It was
but he got down. That is the most important part. That down is super important because that allowed aGator and CYCLOPS to put some damage down onto Lagonis. CYCLOPS also a bit struggling, just takes a couple of shots, then went off again, but it doesn't matter in the end. CYCLOPS able to pick up round number 5, and they are going to be setting themselves up to, well, potentially flow towards a match point here, which would be putting pressure onto G2 in their group. That is going to be playing in Stream A just in a little bit from now.
Pressure, pressure, pressure.
Exactly.
For G2.
A lot of pressure on them.
They have to try and win one, but CYCLOPS needs to win 2. Da, 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 da.
Well, if G2 wins one, they need to win 2. That's a very, very... Yes, exactly.
Yeah, my son was factually correct. Thank you for verifying that. But okay, they've opted to change side. They're not going to double down inside Laundry, and I guess it makes sense. Laundry is one of those sites where if a team loves to do those quick push executes, they were adrift. Team 1 didn't have a response to that, and I think they were a little bit puzzled. You could tell from the scrappiness of some of the firefights. There was the moment when Neskin almost saved Levy's life half a second. Earlier on that call, you have an entirely different story that plays out in the corridor.
Entirely different story indeed. CYCLOPS bringing out the Ying again. Here we have it. Might be coming in for a quick push down into either kids, I would say, or the master bedroom. Not the master bedroom, double window, I must say. And then the pressure will be coming on from CYCLOPS, from Attic, from Trophy, just making sure that there's no other way these players can go. Might be able to make good use of that. Only a couple of phones will go on because the mute jammers have been placed into positions for them to go through. That's a big kill, Gadarada. Taking down Levy, that is the one my gone. No more discs will be generated, and that means that we'll have to rely purely now onto the ADSs that have been located. I believe a couple of smokes are being tossed in as well. Candelas are going in as well. But look at Neskin from below, has a shotgun to try and play, but he misses the shot completely. They are in the site right now. They have complete control, only one drops. Now Neskin, from below, uses C4, has nothing left to do. He needs to either go for these pings as KDS goes big. Able to pick up 2 kills, the plant gets cancelled yet again. It's an effective 2-on-2 situation. aGator is down, Neskin comes up from the white stairs, needs to take this first kill. Onto, I believe that is Gadarada, that is around the corner. No, it's Black Gray playing inside of Kids, but they're holding off. CYCLOPS are not moving. Picking up the member right there, KDS should be aware of that. It's in the 3-on-2 again. Pushing from 2 sides potentially, the Breach and the Trophy. Breach is still close. They need to go from the window. 1 minute 20, plenty of time to play with.
Patience is a little bit of a virtue, and well, it's going to pay off a little bit for Neskin, but now he finds himself the only one left. They're going for a big rotate. The slivers of health apiece are the big problem. It won't take much to drop him, and this is a very smart maneuver to try and catch one of these in the 1 versus 2. Though, the call comes out, the plant is off, tries to apply some pressure. It's a post-plant, but not for very long. CYCLOPS, they put themselves on map point.
Map point it is. And the Ying pushing in from that master bedroom. Well, the shot was originally missed that they should have, okay, so the Ying tosses everything in, jumps in the window, there's a player below with a shotgun, but he misses the shot or actually doesn't even respond. And we're heading into the Team 1 timeout now because something is really not going according to plan here. I believe they are safe. They are almost confirmed playoffs. But of course, you want to set yourselves up in the best possible way. And to do that, you do need to go into that top 4 to make sure you have the double life. And a loss here against CYCLOPS is not going to be helpful. Once again, we're highlighting up. This is what I meant. Neskin not even responding to it. Not even trying to get the shot down. And KDS went quite big, able to pick up 1, but unfortunately, not going to be able to make it last. And it is going to be around here for CYCLOPS, who are now on match point. The pressure will be on. G2 fans are watching this game and thinking, all right, Team 1, please come back. We need you to, we need you to bring this to overtime just like Empire did and make sure that you are going to be taking that win because we cannot have CYCLOPS winning because then the plane tickets might have our names on it.
Guess we'll find out. We're this close towards CYCLOPS being able to start the insurmountable comeback. It's not entirely in their hands. That's the big problem right now, is they could pull off 2 wins, but if G2 show up today, well, it was a nice farewell, and that's all you could really package on it. Team 1, though, I think they need to say farewell to how they've been over these past couple of rounds, struggling to keep a hold on a mantle. As we said, it looks a little bit disjointed. Their defenses that are usually so quick and so ferocious in terms of being able to rebuff and rebuke anything that gets posed to them here are otherwise struggling. There's always another Cyclops player. There's always a swing and a hot bit of aggression from an unexpected spot, or in the case of the last time we were here, every single spot. The execute was pitch perfect, doubled down on the E-box and then twinned that with the laundry and the opposite side on Freezer. It was step for step, as you said. Drop Levy inside the corridor, and then they were able to swing round onside that door and try and offer the support they needed to. As I pointed out, if that fight had gone the other way, it would have been potentially a different hold, and it's that little lapse, that second of a misstep of communication that made things not come together.
Not seeing a mirror coming out this time on Team 1. Instead, the Warden will be making an entry, and I think that might be a good choice. There's Anaton again bringing out the Candelas. Now, we haven't seen them really being that useful yet. Yes, they were tossed in. Yes, they exploded. They got a couple of kills out, but I'm not quite sure whether they were blind or not. The Warden has the opportunity to try and cancel out the effect as Anaton putting some quick pressure down onto Blue, making sure by opening that door but not really playing it that Team 1 is not going to be as freely to rotate around to put some pressure back onto the big stairs. And of course has the opportunity to rotate back later as well, move through without having to open up that door and making some extra noise. So good bit of early start as Galarada gets the kill onto Neskin. That's your Rooney gone. But of course, all utility luckily already placed.
A very important first pick there as they pull themselves through with something that they can build behind, already scratching at the surface in the face of a man who's tried to double up and take that mantle of I will be the one that they meet next. Oh no, wait. 2 drones come through, knows he doesn't want to risk the game. Alamau is playing a bit of a risky one here, holding underneath the hatch to try and get a bit of a hot bit of pressure. There it is, baited by the drone, lost attention for a second, still dancing between the pair of them, somehow escapes and somebody else steps in round from the backside of Freezer. They get Levy out of there and get him back towards the site. He is lucky to survive, but I'm sure that was mixed with a lot of screaming.
It was indeed. Like he tries to take down the drone, gets peeked first, all right? You try and fall back in that case, you somehow manage to survive. And in that case, the second time he tries to go for the drone, again gets peeked, because of course that is the whole point of that hot drone right there. It's a miracle. He is still standing and he will still be fighting for Team 1 as they are a match point behind. 4 pellets now going off, might be the start of the execute. The Candelas could be coming in anytime soon, but KDS still at the bottom of these stairs is in a very crucial position with Levy in that double door. They need to take care of them, and as they take care of that Rooney gate, they are going to be able to push in soon from Blue as well, and the push will be coming down from many different angles. Look at that, KDS able to pick up one off guard. That's the diffuser dropped.
Diffuser drop, 2 bodies inside stage. They can try and get a bit of a rebuttal here first, but instead they're going to make sure they lock the pressure elsewhere. 45 seconds as the Candelas start to scream inside from the bottom of E-box. There's some hot, heavy pressure and a smoke canister, stopping a little bit of the cover of the default, but Alamo has the cover on the opposite side. 30 seconds, and there's a man camping that diffuser. It doesn't matter how much damage you do, it's now a 2 versus 2, and KDS is waiting with the most precious resource available right now. Dropped. The first one tried to swing up from the bottom of Harry Potter, but realized he could not get to the end. There it is. The story is matched 6-3, and they have their first round, and it's a bit of a breath of fresh air.
It is a breath indeed. They are going to get closer towards that overtime now. Still, 3 rounds is what they need to make up, and it was a bit of a mistake that, you know, the diffuser got dropped there. They didn't seem to be aware much, and the run as well from Anaton towards the member that was playing an elbow is questionable, as you see right here. He wants to go for that kill, decides to shift W, but there's no way you can respond to the swing from Alamau in that case, and as it is going to be Cyclops 1 round lost now, they still have the match point available to them. And not just 1, it's going to be 3 in total. We're going to Kitchen Dining next. It will be the site they're going for.
We have a brief technical pause.
We do.
A brief moment, a brief bit of respite, and in a way, I think this might play into the favor of CYCLOPS. It's obviously, we've just come off of a tactical timeout in the hands of Team 1 that's led to success. It was great responses. The push up to drop the diffuser carrier, you couldn't have asked for a better person to take care of in the situation. And then they waited around it. They kind of camped it. They made sure that nobody was going to be able to get close. And if they were, they would still have a struggle and a fight before they made it all the way round. CYCLOPS made a decision of, as we saw, trying to swing into sight, saying, well, we've lost that, but we still have ourselves set up for the push. Let's finish the push, kill everybody. Because last time they did it, before they started to plant, it was a 4 versus 1 on this site. They know that they have that potential, but that little bit of a misstep, that little bit of confusion in the mix, that's something that you're not quite sure what it is in the stew. It made them a bit doubtful. It made them misposition, as you pointed out, and it made them suffer when it came down to it.
Definitely did. Now, the technical timeout is going on. Surely both these teams will be discussing about their next steps. Of course, the coach is not involved in this, so they will have to deal with the 5 of them. And they will have to make sure that they discuss what needs to be discussed and set themselves up for a good round. Now, for CYCLOPS, nothing too much is really going wrong, I dare to say. Of course, they lost the diffuser. It's unfortunate that KDS went up for the peak there. Probably didn't expect it with the amount of pressure that was coming down. Anaton, again, also lost the gunfight due to sprinting, is just a bit too eager going in. So maybe they need to tone the aggression down just a little bit on the side of CYCLOPS. And Team 1, well, they just managed to steal this round away in that case, but they still need to go for 3 more. So there's plenty of time for them to discuss what the next steps will be. And kitchen dining is currently being hovered over. That will be where we are going as soon as the technical is resolved. And it gives them a bit of time, all right? Okay. We see these operators on the board. What are we going to do against it? What are we going to be 6-picking into? Maybe we're going for a complete different strategy. Maybe we are going for a pocket strat, maybe even. If you're daring at a moment like this, you're 6-3 behind. But, you know, sometimes we see the craziest things happen as soon as teams are behind because they have to perform in that case.
Well, if you're wondering why we're on our cams and not in the room, just to say that one of the players is having a quick medical check, just making sure that everything is all okay, which is something that I've heard. We've got the green light. They are all okay. It was just a very quick thing, and obviously for the privacy of the players, anything in those situations, we pull away, and unfortunately you have to look at us. But we're back into the game, 6-3. We have all of our players good and ready to go. The safety is paramount, as it always should be. Apart from inside the game, where everything's hot, everything's aggressive, everything is violent, and now everything rests on the mantle of can they hold this site. Have opted, instead of going up to dorms, which they lost before, they're going to try and play what a lot of teams is tertiary site. It's the one that even this team has played it as their 3rd one. It's, I guess the risk is whatever happens, you're going to have to play this site. So you may as well take it when they don't fully expect it. You may as well take it when you have a little bit extra in your wheelhouse, that extra element of we can strike back with some surprise.
You have to be a bit unpredictable as well, of course, in these situations. You are 3 match points behind. You have to complete a full rotation either way, so you want to try and toss them off guard. Looking at the hard breach potential, they do have the ace, so the Selmas could be used to open up either into the showers or into the direct site. And CYCLOPS is setting themselves up around a small tower. That will surely be their plan. As of course the first step will be to take care of small tower, maybe even take the bedrooms under control, because if you have that hatch and you can play around it, that is going to be so valuable. And I believe currently there is no players actively contesting that, so if a drone of CYCLOPS does find out that there is no one currently inside the bedrooms, they might be taking very quick control of that.
Big sightlines, and that gives me the option of big aggression, but Black Grey has big eyes on that little drone too. Well aware that that's being played in place. They'll be concerned with that possibility of the run out or the jump out. That is something that we've seen Team 1 do well before. It seems like it's a little bit of a cold war of intel here on the front door. They're aware, you're aware, we all know what's about to happen. It's drone wars. Tune in. It's like a slightly less exciting Robot Wars.
It is. Just pinging for now and waiting for someone to potentially take care of the PC utility out there, but Cyclops don't seem to be too interested in that, as the majority of the focus will be coming down on the western side of the map. They will want to go for a plant in dining, it seems like, maybe even go for a bit of aggression down the Shower's hallway to make sure that that will not be a point of interest for the defenders to try and mount the defense from. Yokai drones are being positioned. You see 3 men right there, very close to one another. They have the opportunity to try and cover each other if necessary, but Yokai drones already being taken care of, and BlackBerry has that shower control that is oh so valuable.
Candelas go deep now as they prep themselves for the push. BlackBerry's the first to be dropped off the board with Alamo swinging around and Neskin on the cover here. Galarada gets aggro, doesn't get the kill, but Suzu C is taking this moment to stick the diffuser down and push us into a post plant. No! Just managed to get it off there. I thought it was dropped at the last second, but it was a slip round the corner. It was a bit of success, and it's Levy that tries to counteract. Cannot make it. Here, all the blood is starting to come up. Cyclops, they have one eye, one focus, and it is on surviving the groups, and this is a very vital first win.
Very vital indeed. A second point they put on the board, but that puts all the pressure on G2 right now. They need to win one of their next 2 games to make sure that they are going to be ahead of Cyclops, and as they win right now, there will be a lot of pressure removed from them. They have taken the initiative here. They're mounting the fights to stay in playoffs, to stay in Paris, and let's see if it will work out for them.
Well, a great fight there from Team 1, but they couldn't quite find the energy that was required on their first game of the day. Obviously, they'll be double stacked. They're still in a good position, especially with the loss that was suffered by Liquid earlier. They can fight and battle around that situation, around the possibility of still pushing themselves higher and higher. They've got FaZe in hand just next on this stream. FaZe currently in 5th place. It's going to be a bit of a stormer, but we'll go to our desk after a very quick break.